No. Before we start the video, I think I owe you guys quite a bit of explanation. So, this video was actually filmed on the very first day of December. And then peak season hit with work. I had very few days off. On top of that, I was working 12-hour shifts. Alright? And then, my sincerest apologies, I let my depression get the better of me. A good amount of that time. It was already in effect, but that being said, I was on a couple of weeks of peak season that I was those very few precious days that I was off. I was passed out drunk. So I am sorry, because this video shouldn't have been delayed as long had I just put the bottle down a day or two. So that's a very terrible but straightforward and honest reason why this video got delayed. And then once so at first peak season wasn't that bad, then I started working about 6 days a week on average, and I was just besides only having one day off, essentially, it was not much of a day off because I was just exhausted and I was asleep most of the days. But here's the kicker, man. After all that, at the end of peak, and I'm still slightly recovering from this, even though I sound a lot better and look a lot better. I got sick with COVID, of all things. I'm just like, man, December was not kind to me at all. So, very, very sorry for the delay. All right, between peak, my depression, and getting sick. I am so sorry. This video should have been out 2-3 weeks ago. So, hope you guys had an amazing holiday. And yeah, just wanted to say I'm sorry and kind of explain myself before you guys watch the video. So, onward.
How's it going, guys? DJ Myst, and returning,
this is Chris, now going as DJ Cam.
That's what's up. Y'all? You got a name now.
Yes, sir, I got a name.
All right, I like it. That's what's up. All right, so today's review is going to be The Shift. It was released this year, 2023, and I think it was released this month, actually, December. Oh, so today? Yeah. It was
Thursday.
I think so. Yeah. Okay. So that's
Thursday out.
Yeah, that's the second time I'm actually viewing and reviewing a movie on the day that comes out. The first of those two was Thanksgiving. I don't know how often I'm gonna do this, but because I just review really whatever I'm able to get a hold of. So sometimes if I am fortunate enough to go with the newest releases at the movie theater, I'll go and catch that. But sometimes, as you saw with Beast and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's something that's available on streaming, and it's a little bit more convenient for me. Real quickly though, you're probably wondering, why are we in a car? Let me explain the whole situation. Yeah. So I, through a series of unfortunate decisions, I guess, if you will, I acquired a dog for 4 days. It may not seem like a long time, but for me it was an eternity. Oh my gosh, I am not made for pets. So that dog, I was finally able to get it to the SPCA, and I'm hoping that they find it a good home. But the dog was abandoned, and I fostered it for a while. That being said, I was able to do that today. I've been working my overnight 12-hour shifts that I always talk about, and so it's just been a busy day between getting everything ready, surrendering the dog, then coming to hang out with DJ Cam. We went out to eat and actually just hung out for a bit, but then we were like, okay, we got to watch this movie, etc. So and we live about 45 miles apart, something like that. So
something like that.
Yeah, so he does not have it's not convenient for him to drive all the way to my place so we can professionally shoot this. Yeah, I know, right? My amazing studio that I got set up.
Hey man, you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, so that's why we're in the car. All right, it's my only day off. Tomorrow I'll go back to work, and right now it is peak season at my job, so I am working 5 days out of the week, sometimes 6 if I'm broke enough or desperate enough to pick up an extra shift. So last week I did that, by the way. So that's why we're in the car. So, but anyways, the shift caught my attention. There wasn't just like with Thanksgiving, I didn't see too much marketing for this movie, but it still caught my attention. So I brought that up to Cam, and he agreed. He was like, "Yeah, go ahead and check it out." So
yeah, I didn't know nothing about the movie till he mentioned it. Like, I just found out about it today. I didn't know nothing about this film, so I came into this film with, not knowing anything about it. Who made it, who directed it, who's acting in it. So, yeah.
all right. So, like always, let's start off with the good. Did you want to kick it off, sir? Or do you want me to start off with the good?
Go ahead. You go.
All right. So, the good. I actually thought that this movie had a really cool premise. It's I'm not sure if the advertising material, it does touch upon this. So this is not a spoiler. It's really cool that this is it's a multiverse movie. So it's a sci-fi multiverse drama for the most part. But it's really cool that there is a multiverse that is presented, and the main character does visit multiple realities. I thought that was pretty cool. It also has a lot of Christian references throughout, a lot of biblical references throughout, and I thought it was cool to, for example, one movie that I did not know, even though, and this was a while back, one movie that I did not know was like, it's one of those things where I'm not going to call it a Christian movie, but it had heavily Christian references. The Book of Eli. I was totally ignorant to that when I first went to watch it, and I was like, dude, this is cool. Like, so this movie, same thing. The way it implicates its Christian references is pretty well done. I actually really like that. It does a good job of setting up its multiverse, multiple reality premise with throwing in all the biblical references. So I thought that was pretty cool. That's one of my huge likes on this one.
Okay, I feel like the movie had a good message, first and foremost, and kind of like he was saying, it was a bunch of biblical references throughout the movie. I like the concept that it had. It was a concept of good and evil and choosing between those two. So that's what I got out of the movie. That's what I liked about it the most too. So that was one of my good points for the movie. Yeah. Good and evil.
Yeah, so good and evil is definitely present very heavily throughout the film, and again, that goes back on its biblical or Christian references, and I like that. Actually, they do a good job of really painting that picture, like what's right, what's wrong, and there's a lot of conflict, but there's a lot of one thing that I like, and the movies are getting smart about this, because that's one thing that I've noticed in a lot more movies recently, and I've also mentioned it a few times on the review. A lot of there's a lot of call outs. Like, I love it when whether it be our main character or a villain of the story, like, gets called out on their actions. And that is, exactly, on their BS, man. Like, it's like, so yeah, main characters or protagonists, they're not perfect, so it's like, this character, he gets called out multiple times, like, throughout. It's like, dude, you suck, you're not a good person. It's like, so that was really, really good too, that I liked. Sean Astin, you may remember him from Lord of the Rings. The first thing I ever saw him in was Rudy, so he'll always be Rudy to me. But he's in this movie. He's really good. He's really, just like he usually, most of his characters are, he's really endearing. The latest thing he's been in, I believe, is Stranger Things, and he's really nice in that. So yeah, Sean Astin is in this, and he was a delight to see. And Neil McDonough is in it, and he plays the benefactor, a character named the Benefactor, and he does a really good job. Like, from the moment that he is introduced, you can tell something's not right with the guy, And I really love it's a scene very early on. They go to like I guess, would you call it a cafe or somewhere to, they go somewhere to eat, and the intimidation that this guy radiates is done so well. And it's funny because like the main character during this time is actually pretty ignorant to that, but everyone surrounding these two characters when they go to this restaurant, man, it is you can feel it. You can feel the tension, the stress, and everyone being intimidated by this guy. So I thought that was really cool. Neil McDonough always plays aggressive characters very well. Funny enough, the latest thing I've seen him in, he wasn't an aggressive character, and it was a cameo really, but he was in he played one of the military guys. I think he was a general or a colonel. I can't remember. But in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and he gets roasted by Jim Carrey. So that's probably like the least threatening role I've seen him in. But in this one, yeah, he does well. Yeah.
Yeah, you felt his presence in the movie.
Oh, yeah,
and I like that particular scene you're talking about in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Like you felt like the mood just switched, and like, you know, he just took over. So yeah, I applaud his acting.
Yeah, and because he's okay. So yeah, no, like when it's crazy because he's being really nice to the main character, but again, everyone else is scared of him, and he does do. There's this one part where like his mood just switches from smiles to anger, and again, just being ominous, being very threatening, being very aggressive, and he does it on a dime, but it's done so well. It's not. It does come out of left field, but it's not a awkward transition. He slides right into it and does it amazingly. So Neil McDonough is always a delight to watch.
Yeah, he sure is, man.
So I'm still looking at my notes. Oh, that's what. Okay, cool. You got another good point, or I can go into mine, man? So.
Yeah, go ahead, because unfortunately, that was the only good thing. My good point about the film. Yeah. That's all I had, really.
So, the other good thing is going back to like how I said that our main character gets called out on all that stuff. So, the main character's name is Kevin. And he's actually one really good point that I wrote down is that he's relatable. He's really relatable. Again, I said none of us are perfect, right? He gets called out on his BS. He's every time it's like, no, it's like, dude, you suck as a person. Like you're crap. Like it, all his wrongdoings are called out, and I know that it's the purpose of most films, most stories, most books to have the main character be what's called a placeholder for the audience. You are supposed to relate to that main character. That's supposed to be you, because you're following that character throughout the story, whether it be again a movie, a book, a video game. Like you are the main character, or at least that's the purpose of most stories, specifically movies. That's what they try to convey. And again, I think that was really cool. This guy is not 100%. This guy is it shows you. It doesn't go too much into detail, but this guy has a terrible past, and it's centered around his job and around money. So like I really like that they pointed that stuff out. So that again, really cool, because none of us are perfect, and none of us, no matter how much we want to believe we are, none of us are good people. Like we're not pure of heart at all. Some of us are more good than others, but no one is a good person by the definition of like what most movies depict as a good person. So I thought that was pretty cool. That the main character was very relatable. He wasn't black or white. It was. He definitely has some stains on his canvas. So that was awesome. And since you have no more good points, I'll go ahead and go into my last point. Okay. And I kind of already touched up on this, but the movie, though it was heavily filled with a bunch of again Christian references, biblical references. It didn't preach. It didn't push it beyond that line. So I thought it was still very, very intelligently implemented into this movie. I never felt like I was getting, I never felt like I was in church, even though
You feel like you're getting lectured.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I
By
didn't
the
feel like I was.
pastor himself.
Yeah. And it was like, like, yeah. There are some movies that just like, you are a sinner, and you need to repent. I'm like, geez, Christian message heavy much? Like, no, this movie didn't do that. I liked it. It was very, again, now it wasn't shy about its Christian base either. That's one thing I also like. It was very forward with it. It was very prominent, but it didn't cross that boundary where it didn't feel like it was preachy, and it didn't feel like, again, I was being called out on my sins, It's like, so that was
So like you did something bad.
yeah, like exactly. It's like,
Had you
and
rethinking,
God shall smite thee if you don't go to church.
You going to hell.
You go, it's like, but I work. It's like, the
Had you
Lord.
rethinking some of your past choices in life.
Like, so you make time for work, but not time for the Lord. Like, yeah, no. So it didn't do that. So that was also a big positive for me. Again, it didn't preach to me. So good on that. All right, man.
All right.
So that's all I got for the good. But what do you got? What do you got, man? Do you want to start off with the bad? You want to kickstart that?
Yeah, as far as the bad, I feel like the movie kind of dragged a bit. Kind of like in my last review with the Five Nights at Freddy's. I just felt like this film was too long, man, for what it was. I feel like the characters, besides the main characters, all the other characters in the film were like, they feel like bots to me, man. NPCs. Like they're just there to be there. Like you didn't really get much substance from them, much dialogue from them. It was mostly centered, as it should be on the main character. But I wish the other characters would have had more dialogue, more, dive in more into their backstory. That's what I feel from it.
Yeah, actually, so that's similar to what's called one of the points I make later on. It's not. I'm gonna go out of order on this one because
Yeah,
I do agree. I actually don't feel like the film lingered or dragged on, but they do without going into detail. They do linger on what I called Kevin's limbo. All right, so they do a very good job of the initial setup, and then the main character is a bit stuck for a while, and then he finally gets traction in where he wants to get going to go to his destination. I do feel that they lingered too much on his limbo. I actually never got bored while this was going on, but I could tell that they were, it did feel like they were losing a little bit of focus on their story because they were just concentrating too much on, I guess they were trying to convey, his hardships that he's currently going through, a little bit of his depression and all that. So, but yes, no, like Cam said, man, I really actually would have liked, some of the characters, especially they introduced some pretty interesting characters too. So yeah, it would have been nice to have a little bit more backstory. They do. This is very much Kevin's story, but I mean, there are two characters that. So Sean Astin is in this movie a lot, but you actually don't get to know him too much. So Sean Astin's character in the movie, his name is Gabriel. Gabriel is a very interesting character, but you don't know too much about Gabriel. You really like Gabriel. You really, and they make him again very endearing. That's just another thing that Sean Astin is really known for when he plays his characters. So you really get to like him really fast. You fall in love with this guy really fast. But other than the best friend, I don't know much about this guy. So that I can definitely agree with that. Where, like you said, that they're NPCs. Another guy that they introduce, his name is Russo, and he's also a friend of Kevin's. And I would have liked to know more about that. And
how they end up there with Kevin?
Yeah.
That world that they were in, that dimension, whatever you want to call it. Kind of fill in the backstory of how they got there. Why Gabriel or Sean Astin's character was was one of the protagonists of the film. That's what I wanted to know.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, it definitely does sideline a lot of interesting characters in just to focus on Kevin. Which again, we know it's Kevin's story, but they definitely could have fleshed out a few other characters. So I agree with that. I just feel like they definitely lingered on, again, not that they what's it called, focused on Kevin too much, but they definitely did. It's just that his limbo portion of the movie, that could have been shortened, in my opinion. For me, it wasn't actually too long. It's just that they just dwelled too much on that. Because again, I actually didn't get bored in any part of this movie, and I just felt like they did run that one section a little too thin. And again, I know that they were just trying to convey like the tough times that this character is going through during that time before like they start getting into the more fast-paced stuff later on. But I feel like that could have been shortened a bit. And it's kind of weird for me to say, like, I believe that section of the movie should have been shortened by a bit, but not the full length of the movie, because, and what I'm about to go into in a little bit later, I feel like they could have invested that runtime into other things. So, you got another bad that you want to mention, sir?
Yeah, so since this movie's classified as a sci-fi film, I feel like the action scenes could have been a little bit better, or they could have added a little bit more, to the action scenes, since it is a sci-fi film. And that's kind of, what you expect from a sci-fi film.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like they could have, added a little bit to it, give it a little bit more spice.
Yeah.
A little bit more seasoning to the scenes. I don't know. Yeah, they could have done a little bit more.
Yeah, so okay, I'm glad that, so like the last 2 points this one included, the last 2 points that you made, I really like, because it actually goes hand in hand with one of the negatives that I had. So the editing in this movie, and specifically during those action parts, it takes away from the intensity of the moments. There's certain parts of this movie where it lingers too much on one shot, and that you don't get the feel of the situation that the character is in. So, and this happens multiple times. So there's times where, when I guess I'll just say that I wouldn't really call them the police, but there's some type, I mean, in this reality that they are, I guess, their version of law enforcement. So when these guys, these troops, SWAT soldiers, whatever you want to call it, these enforcers, basically, it's, your usual, like, how do you say it, like, usual, I guess, dystopian, like, the guys in suits with guns, right? Whenever they, so basically, when these guys, start pointing their guns, start raising their weapons, like they linger too much on shots like that before they start firing, and that takes away, like, if it could have been edited just like a half a second shorter, like, you'd get the intensity right away. And so that's one thing I did feel it was lacking in, like, the action. It sets up a really good visual on the action. It just it just lingers on certain shots a little too much of them just raising their weapons and never firing before they start firing, that that does take away from the intensity. I'm like, oh man, these action scenes were really, really nicely set up, and that's just the only thing that kind of ruined them. It's like, because once it gets going, once they start firing, you're like, okay, this is cool. Like, this, you really want to see, you really do want to see this character, flee from, danger. And this character is in danger, man. He does get shot. He does get hurt. Like, he is definitely not one of those main characters that has plot armor, So I thought, he definitely is human. So, yeah. But again, if these shots were just, these action sequences were just edited a little bit better, I think that they could have, the scenes could have benefited more, because again, it like he said, it's like it's missing a little spice, a little bit of seasoning. No, I felt that too. I'm like,
you felt that?
Yeah, and it was mainly, for me at least, it's not like the action sequences themselves. I thought that was actually really well done. It was for me, it was actually again, it's just the editing. The editing was just a little off, man. The timing just could have been a little bit better. So, but yeah. That's one of the that's another one of the negatives that I had to mention. You got any more negatives, sir?
Yeah, I would say my final one would probably be that they didn't end it. They didn't end it the way I wanted it to be ended. I feel like they could have left it open for a sequel. because I really want to like this movie, and I did like it at first the way it started off, but I just feel like it got bad after as it kept going.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if they would have left it open for a sequel and kind of worked on the points that we're talking about, the bad points, for the second film, man, I feel like it has potential. I'll say that.
Dude. Okay, so I'll be honest, I actually didn't even think of it that way until you just said that right now, because I'm gonna make my last 2 points. They go hand in hand ish, but I'm not gonna lie, like that is actually phenomenal. Like, so I didn't think about that. Like, no, if this movie, again, and now this is not a spoiler, but it is very definitive. And as I watched it, I accepted it for being definitive. Yeah, dude, I actually think if this movie had been left open for a sequel, dang, dude, I'm not gonna lie, that would have made this movie like, wow.
Made him to like some kind of like superhero in the sequel, like fighting off the villains, fighting off the the protagonists of the films.
So, wow. Dude, that is actually really that is actually, and again, it being sci-fi, man, that's definitely within the realm of possibility of the universe that they
fighting in different dystopian worlds, post-apocalyptic worlds. Like, it sounds,
Yeah, dude. I was
just thinking about that.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even consider that while watching this movie at all, and now that actually got me hyped.
Yeah.
That actually got me hyped. Like, my imagination's now going crazy with like the possibility that they could have done with this. So I'll go ahead and you got me like really hyped, dude, for that. No, that's a really good point, man. So I'll go ahead and with my last 2 again. It kind of goes hand in hand with this, which is why I like having Cam on the shows now. Like, I mean, it's really cool. Like with Five Nights at Freddy's, like he did the same thing. He brought stuff into it, and that's why it's cool to like. I want more people on the show because of that. Like, it's like, I know I have one perspective, but like certain other people, that have gone through the same, 2-hour experience that you did, like saw it through a different set of eyes. And I'm just like, and me being, a bit of a movie nerd, like that just, and as you can see, the excitement just like heightened. So awesome. Anyways, let me go. It's funny because I'm like all hyped up, and it's like, let me tell you some more bad stuff about this movie. Yeah. So another bad thing, but again, with what I'm about to say, this is why I guess I'm so hyped, because I'm about to mention my last 2 bad points. But if they had left it open for a sequel, these 2 points that I'm about to make would have been like actually really good. What's it called? Really good basis for the next movie. So I guess that's again, you brought something that I didn't consider, and with what I was about to say, or with these I guess they are negative opinions for the film, actually could like
positive,
could have been positive. Yeah. So number one, the number one of the last 2 things is that the benefactor's motivation is not clear. So you can, the film lets you know very early on that he is the bad guy, but it never tells you why he wants to do whatever he wants to do. I mean, he does hint and show that there is some type of control that he gets from it, some type of power, all right, some type of authority that he wants. He wants more control over, I guess, all these multiverses, but it never goes into too much detail to where you really understand. So other than the allegory of he is the devil or Satan, he's basically supposed to represent evil, you don't get anything deeper than that. So yeah, I wish that they had elaborated a little bit more on the benefactor's motivations. Or
that would have been, now that you mentioned, that would have been cool to, see his side of the story, see them dive in deeper to, the backstory of why he became the benefactor.
Yeah.
Why he became bad or evil.
Yeah.
That would have been, cool to dive into.
So yeah, no, that's
the background of his story.
Yeah. Again, that was I mean, Neil McDonough plays it well. Great. So yeah, he plays it so well that even with the script that doesn't have all this backstory, you still accept the character for who he is. Like you still, because he plays it with such, like he is 100% certain of everything that he's doing. So he has conviction in whatever his plan is, and he nails it. So again, his acting was great, and if it hadn't been played by this guy, like I think that the benefactor would have actually been a very weak character because there is very little substance to him. Again, his motivations are really not clear at all, or they're just at surface level. The second point that, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the benefactor, but it's more so just the movie overall. And again, what we mentioned earlier with the NPCs, there was and actually, it also goes with what I mentioned earlier about them lingering on Kevin's limbo too much. And I'm going to explain what I meant by they should have shortened that segment of the movie, but I don't feel that they should have shortened the whole runtime. So there was a lot of lost potential. Storytelling, and it sucks because like at the beginning, like they have to do setup, but I still feel like at the beginning there was a lot of stuff missing. Definitely at the end where it gets a lot more interesting, there's a ton of stuff missing. Oh my gosh. And y'all know me, I'm huge on plot. I love a story. That's what makes or breaks a movie for me. So one of the things that they do bring this back, so the main character early on screws over another character like terribly, dude. And it's funny because this is before like the story really kicks in, and before he really knows where he's at and what he's doing, so he is very inconsiderate when he does this. Like, I mean, this character gets like, I mean, royally, like, yeah. But they do bring that character back at the end, and they try to have, a bit of a redemption arc, but it wasn't fulfilling for me because I feel like they could have gone more deeper into that. They could have expanded that story a little bit. All right, so that's one of the things that I mean, like lost potential. They could have fleshed out so much more. They could have elaborated so much more had they just not concentrated on Kevin so much, man. Like, there's so the main motivation for Kevin is he is trying to go back to his wife, but they introduce a lot more with his wife later on that actually gets really, really interesting with this, especially with this whole multiverse concept. And I'm like, dude, I would have loved to see that a lot more. So that would have made the whole dynamic between him and his wife a lot more captivating, in my opinion. And especially how it ends, I'm like, dude, they could have ran with that a lot more. So, and another one of my last points for the lost potential that I want to state is that multiverse travel. They have it in there. It's in there, but there's not enough of it, in my opinion. It does a very good job of explaining the multiverse, but the character doesn't get to travel the multiverse until much later in the film. And man, I just feel like they could have.
And even then, it just shows, it's just for a few seconds of the film.
Yeah, like
it shows them in the different worlds he's, traveled to.
Yeah, he travels to them, and they're very short segments. They're really cool segments, but they're very short segments. And again, that goes back to, like, I feel like they just concentrate on his hardship a little too long. I'm like, dude, no, if you had, I mean, it's good to establish that, all right, the conflict that the character is going through. But I think they definitely overdid that just a bit, because I would have loved to see these for example, one movie that had, and because multiverse is a huge thing right now. Like, a lot of movies are doing multiverses. Yeah, a ton of movies are. So, but I want to give an example of a movie that did go through a ton of multiverses, but it gave it more time in those multiverses, and that's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Like, yeah, there was a lot of multiverse hopping or time hopping in that, but it felt, even though there was a ton of it, it felt like when they did stay somewhere, they actually did dedicate a lot of time for that. So you actually got the feel of that universe, and you actually felt like you were in a different universe each time. With this one, it didn't quite feel so, at least for me, it didn't, like, you could tell it was a different universe, but it felt more like a a different. I mean, I guess this could be argued that it's a different universe as well, but it felt more like a different timeline. Like, yeah, because it advertised the. I guess, you know, it advertised decision making, right? And, you know, every decision has a different outcome. So it just felt like it was, I guess in a way, it just felt, what I mean by timeline, it just felt like it was the main character's same reality with a different outcome instead of a physical, separate reality. So that's where I wish that there was more multiverse travel so you could get accustomed to these multiple realities. So you could tell, it's like, yeah, he is in, you know, this universe, and now it's like, oh, now he's in this universe, and it didn't quite get that feeling for me. So, but yeah, no, it was that's.
Speaking of the Doctor Strange film,
yeah,
another movie that did good with that, you know, the traveling different worlds, or you know, was Inception.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yes, Inception.
You know, there are different timelines and worlds and dreams, and entering this dream and that. I feel like they did a good job with that. So I wish I would have saw a little bit more of that. You know.
Yeah. No. Again. So yeah, that's yeah. No. That's the thing, man. It's funny because like, yeah, I wanted to see more of what this movie basically presented. I'm like, dude, you got a bunch of cool stuff here. Like, let me see more of it. They're like, no,
showcase.
Yeah. It's like, no, we're done, bro. I was like, wait, what?
We're done.
Like,
I feel like they're rushing, you know, to get back to
like
heaven.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Heaven.
So, well, not even that. Well, for me at least, like, again, that limbo portion, that's like, I guess my biggest flaw for this movie. Like so you got the beginning, which is, well, I guess I should put it here since you guys are the opposite of me. So you got the beginning, right? And then this limbo portion is that long, and then when you get to your third act, it's also very short, that they just try to cram so much stuff in there. Then I'm just like, dude, if you had just shortened, you know, like that middle part, you would have had a very well structured like movie, and definitely had a lot more. I think they would have done the world building way better than that. So yeah, they could have shortened that. Again, Kevin is the main focus, and I like that, but they did just focus, I guess, a little too much on Kevin, man. Like that yeah, you miss out on a lot. It left you wanting more. Like, I left me wanting a lot more. So, but yeah, no. Overall, I actually really enjoyed this movie, and I'm glad that lately I'm watching a bunch of movies I enjoy. So like, I'm glad that, yeah, I'm glad that I haven't had any at least too low ratings lately. But yeah, any overall thoughts, man, that you want to give it real quick before?
Overall, I feel like you know, I did enjoy watching it, but I just felt like it dragged a little. But you know, I did enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like they could have added more to the film.
Yeah,
they could have, you know, like I said, dive in deeper to the other characters, their backstories. I just like had a lot of potential, man.
It did, and like that, it didn't use. So like, yeah,
that it didn't use, exactly. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, no, the same, man. This movie left me wanting more. Like, that's with most movies, if I were when I usually say that, I mean like the movie. It's because the movie was lacking in certain things that I feel like it could have. What's it called? Like when I'm watching them, like I was like, well, this is okay, but it could have done this. Like, no, this movie, it's more of a positive when I say that, even though it's still negative. Like, it left me wanting more because what it did so good, and it just didn't spend time on it. So I'm like, dang it! Like, come on, man, give me, like, I want to see more of that.
Give me some more.
Yeah, for real. Like, so yeah, man, it's like getting a 6-ounce steak, man. Like, like it's good, but it's about this big. So yeah, oh man,
savor each bite.
Yeah, you really gotta enjoy it because there's not much of it, man. So like, you really gotta enjoy it. So you want to go first on the rating, or do you want me to?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and go first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give it a 6. So it's worth the watch.
Yeah.
Go out and see it, man. Or women. I don't judge. Yeah, people, peeps. Yeah, go ahead and see it. It's you know, it's worth the watch. So, what about you?
Yeah, so I was actually very on the fence with the rating I'm gonna give it, but the more I thought about it, and there's this one, like, really the ending, funny enough, even though I do really get what you're saying, but there's a part pretty much at the ending that just turned it around for me. And at first I was sitting on the fence between, I'm like, I don't know, man, I kind of want to give it a 7, but like I don't know if it's really an 8. But that little part in the ending, man, actually just barely, but it pushed it through for me. So I'm actually gonna give it a really high grade. I give it an 8. Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, yeah, no, I thoroughly, again,
Yeah.
it barely got there, but it still got there. So I gave it an awesome. Actually, yeah, man, I give it an 8, man. I really enjoyed it. And again, the like a big flaw is like I want more of it. It's just like I don't know if it's I don't know if it was just slightly a weak script, or if it was like, or maybe budget restraints on why they had to shorten some of the like the action parts, but
yeah, some of those scenes.
Yeah, you know, it's like maybe it might have been. This is gonna sound bad, but like, so I actually did try to look up what the budget on this movie was, and I couldn't find it. So, but lately I've been watching a pretty good amount of low budget movies. Like, again, Thanksgiving was filmed on a $15 million budget. Five Nights at Freddy's was filmed on a $20 million budget. So I'm guessing this movie was, just judging by how its presentation was, I'm guessing it was filmed for about 10 to 12 million. So it might have been budgetary constraints, but and that because of that, this is what I'm gonna, so like, this is gonna sound like a bad joke, but like, maybe that's why they made it a very definitive ending, because they're like, man, bro, like, it's like we don't have enough money for the sequel. Like, we're not gonna leave it open for a sequel.
We're
like,
going bankrupt after this.
So, no, but yeah, no, that's yeah, it's no, it did everything real well. Again, it's for it being a Christian-based story, like, it didn't preach to me. I really liked how confident it was with its biblical references, without harking on me for not being a Christian. You know what I mean? So like I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I didn't. Again, it barely got there, but I feel like I'd be doing it a disservice if I gave it a 7. So it gets an 8. It gets an awesome for me. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, man.
I had to watch it.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, like, I mean, it's funny because like, I find myself doing this. Like, I guess I can always, and it's always easier to spot negatives in movies than positives, but like, it's funny when at least I personally think it's funny when I can watch a movie and have so many negative things to say, but at the end of the day I like still enjoy it enough to give it like a really good rating. Yeah. But yeah, man. So
definitely way better than Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, that's a good man.
That watch it for free.
Five Nights at Freddy's. That man.
That Peacock.
It's like, watch it at home. We got
Peacock.
Five Nights at Freddy's at home. Yeah, so man, so no, I'm glad. Today was a very busy day. Again, we're recording in the car, but I will say I'm glad that the night is ending on a very good note. So
yeah.
But yeah, any exiting words that you want to say, sir? Like, before I end the show here, man.
I was gonna say it would be kind of cool if in the comments they'll let us know, like, give any suggestions. You ever thought about that? Any suggestions, like, to a film maybe they'll want us to see?
Actually, yeah, no, if y'all got, so again, like, so yeah, no, that's a very good point. So again, I don't just catch the new releases just because they're new releases. No, I just, again, sometimes I just watch whatever's streaming. So if y'all have a movie that y'all want to suggest, by all means, we will watch it
and review it. And
I'm totally down for that. It can be an older movie. Yeah, as long as it's on streaming, it pretty much, like, I'll watch it. And I hope to have Cam with me while watching that. So, yeah, no, I like that. Yeah,
that'd be something cool.
Yeah, by all means, throw out your suggestions, and if I'm able to, I'm willing to. So
exactly.
Cool. Well, once again, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys watching. Always do. I appreciate you guys tolerating the what's it called? The scenery. being again, we just couldn't make it to my apartment to like actually the place is a mess anyways. Y'all wouldn't have been able to tell, but that dog tore everything up, man. He really did. So
yeah, we did this on the fly.
yeah, we really did. Hopefully the next one, the lighting will be better. We'll actually have a mic, and you know, you'll be able to, even though we did try to talk loud for this one just so you could hear us very well, but it's probably catching a lot of reverb from the car doors and all that. So, but yeah, thank you guys. Like always, you guys are amazing. I really appreciate your views. I really appreciate your dedication. Glad to have DJ Cam with me on this now. I can't guarantee. Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate you coming on. I can't guarantee he's going to be in every episode, but I'm glad that he is now solidifying his presence here. So, yeah, dude. So
yeah, man. Thanks again for having me on here. Thank you to the fans. Yeah, thanks, DJ Myst.
Yeah,
pleasure, man.
It's a pleasure to have you, man. It's definitely a pleasure, a privilege, and an honor, man. So. I'll let you say your name first, just because I'm used to also ending it. And again, see, we're still getting this down, so that's why we didn't rehearse this. So that's why we're still getting it out. So Go ahead, sir.
All right, I'm DJ Cam.
This has been
pleasure,
and this has been DJ Myst. Peace.
Thank you guys for watching. By the way, I'm having really bad luck with my equipment. So sorry for the sound on this. I couldn't get my microphone to work, and I didn't want to do 2 different takes with my podcast mic. So I do apologize for all the reverb that you guys are hearing right now. I will get that fixed soon. But yeah, thank you for watching the video. I just really wanted to say thank you guys for 2023. So 2023 for me was not fun at all, especially the second half of 2023. However, you guys seem to really get hyped up for my videos, and that hasn't happened in really a long time. So I just want to say thank you, because that is a big deal. And I plan to keep on working on these. I plan to fix the mic situation, the camera situation, a lot of situations. But I really just wanted to say thank you for my longtime subscribers sticking with me all these years. All right, and we've only got further to go, higher to go. I am nowhere near popular, nowhere near famous, but enough of you guys watch me to where I'm going to keep on doing it. And on top of that, it's just a good excuse for me to work on what I love, which is video, film, editing. I love all this stuff. Not really acting, because I'm just talking in front of a camera, expressing my own opinions, but I do like to act. Some of y'all know that. But yeah, just wanted to say, as terrible as 2023 was, especially on the second half of 2023, you guys have kept the hype up, and I appreciate that. So I just want to say thank you for making it a good year, even amongst all the dark valleys that I had this year. So yeah, that's really it. I hope you guys had an amazing holiday. Hope you guys had an amazing, or will have an amazing new year, depending on when I get this out or when you guys are seeing this. But yeah, 2024. Gonna try to fix a lot of situations and try to get a little bit better at what I do. That's really it. No big message other than thank you. And that is a big, sincere thank you. I can't thank you guys enough, really. I know I say that a lot. You know, I know I give you guys the credit, which all the credit should be to you guys, because without you guys, my channel is nothing. You know, without the subscriptions, without the views, like, I mean, why am I even doing this other than I like to work on video, you know? So thank you guys. Yeah, that's really it. I'm sorry to ramble. And it's bigger and better, you know? But really, you guys are amazing. You guys are you guys make it happen. So this has been DJ Myst. Hope you guys have an amazing New Year's and bring it on 2024. Peace.